world of uniparty politics, Americans are not seeing that fascism is not bearing to the left or the right, but a corporate endeavor to control policy for self-enrichment and aggrandizement to non-existent issues to socially condition the masses for global influence and control. This is today's New World Order. We the people are not happy with it. This is America Talks.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining in this week on America Talks. I'm your host, Greg Toller, here in Kentucky, and the co-host, John Grosner, up in New Hampshire. John, how you doing this week?
I am doing, Greg. You know, same old, same old. BS one day and BS the next day, and just kind of wondering what we're going to find out about America's gold here in the future. So hopefully we'll get into some good discussions on that.
Yeah, I think we will. So this week we have Deborah Smith. I believe Deborah is from Mississippi, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct, yeah.
So we
Southern
will be, like John said, there you go. Like John said, we'll be talking about the gold, Fort Knox here in Kentucky, and things like that. So, Deborah, I'll let you introduce yourself and let you take the lead, and let's get it rocking.
Okay, my name is Deborah Smith. I am from the great state of Mississippi. And I've spent a few years working with American Patriots, I guess, almost since its inception, and working on all aspects of the organization. I founded a little group called Patriot Express, which evolved into a disaster relief, and it was pretty hectic. It involved a lot of management organizations, a lot of the same stuff, but you had to add a lot of logistics and a whole bunch of empathy. And I did that until the year we did all those 7 disasters, and it was overwhelming. It was just a lot of people burned out that year, and I was one of them. I've worked a little bit with Cajun Navy since then, and volunteered my time with them. But talk about a tough field. You start dealing with people who've lost so much, lives are taken, and I mean, through no fault of their own, and they're just overwhelmed, and it really gets to you after a while. But anyway, these days I'm taking care of my little mini farm, and I'm enjoying that. I'm just relaxing, trying to enjoy the years.
Yeah. So you want to talk about the gold in Fort Knox? Is that
I'm
good?
very curious what they're going to find in there. Ever since I heard that Donald Trump wanted to take Elon Musk and open the vault, I've been okay. Let's see it, And then, of course, there's all these rumors, and nobody knows if it's in there, and they're speculating as to whether or not it's there or not. So I looked. I started digging around, researching, and I'm like, hey. There is a lot of reason to be uncertain about it. I would want to, if I were president, I'd want to see it too. Other presidents, if I think Roosevelt may be the only president who did actually see the gold. Ronald Reagan wanted to view it. Nope, that didn't happen.
Yeah, I don't think there's as much there as they're expecting to be there. I spent a lot of time on Fort Knox, being in the military, in the Army. I had shooting competitions, and we'd always go there to go to the range and shoot. And I've heard a lot. In the times that I have been to Fort Knox, that there's not as much there as people actually think there is. I don't know exactly how much is there. I I think it's supposed to. I don't know how many tons are supposed to be there.
What I've read is
But I
147.3 million tons in ag. Like I said, I could buy me a boat and a truck to pull it and all the works.
oh yeah,
I'd be
absolutely. That's what's that translate to, John? You're a math whiz. As far as total money, what would that be worth?
What was the
By
amount?
today's standard.
What I hear,
How
40
many?
million tons?
147.3 million troy
Wow.
ounces. Troy ounces. Tons would be 400 billion tons.
Ooh,
I know.
there's enough in there. There's enough. It's supposed to be enough, I guess, in there to well, probably pay the debt off him.
I would hope so. Well, the price of gold has gone up dramatically since they put it in there and calculated it the last time. So,
Wow. Now my basic calculations are right around $852 trillion. Is that right? No, it's got to be more. That don't make sense to me. I know I was looking at Federal Reserve or U.S. U.S. Treasury Department talking about let's see, U.S. Treasury owned gold, and according to my math, it was about $11 trillion that the United States Treasury Department has stored in various places like Fort Knox, Federal Reserve, Denver, Colorado. Where are they? Mint
but
Hill
the
Gold.
Treasury only has about 59% at Fort Knox.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That's right. 147,341,858. Is that right? 147,341,858 troy ounces. So book value of 6,221,097 $6,221,097,412.78.
And that's by today's standards.
That's what it's saying right here. Here, I'll give you guys all a link, and so folks want to check that out. Always check me. Don't take my word for it.
Wow.
Private chat so you guys can find it there.
What could I do with that much money?
Yeah.
Well, what can the federal government do with that much money? I mean, look at how much debt can be paid off between that and Elon Musk and Doge. We could probably pay the debt off.
Oh,
Right.
yeah, but the concept is you don't want to sell off your gold. Your gold is your backing, right?
Yeah, sure.
So you sell that off and you got nothing. I remember years ago when Russia was getting debt free, and that's what they made this big announcement. There was Putin holding this big gold bar up in the air, and he says Russia's going with gold back. What they got, rubles or whatever, and so they were going to back the currency with gold, and they were talking about buying up all the world's gold supplies and all this other stuff. Really, we still got a big chunk of it, according to the Treasury Department, but the speculation is the gold really there? You know, when they open up Fort Knox, is it going to be there? You know, there's pictures of,
And that's a $1 million question.
1972, and here's Mitch Picano and a few other jokers holding some gold bars. But you also got to check it, because is it actual gold bars or is it artificial? Is it fake? Are we being duped? You know,
You have to weigh
they
it.
said, hey, we're going to test these voting machines. Yeah, they picked 10 voting machines that were never used, so they can't fail, right? So good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when they got 10 gold bars over there, they're going to test that look good, and the rest of them could be lead for all we know.
I mean, don't get.
And what do you guys make of all the gold that's being shipped into the country right now?
Do what?
There. What do you think of all the gold that's being shipped into the country right now? You know, the Rockefellers supposedly took all that gold out many years ago and killed the woman who wrote an article about it. I don't know if you read up on that or not. This Louise, whatever, worked for Nelson Rockefeller, and she had gotten wind of what was going on behind the scenes. The Rockefellers were working with the feds, and they were selling the gold to Europe, I want to say, at rock bottom prices, right? And so she wrote an article about it as an anonymous author, though, right? Well, 3 days after the article came out, she was found. She got pushed out of a 10-story window to her death. And this guy, Nelson, somebody, even went to Theodore Roosevelt's granddaughter and tried to get her to help him. He tried for 10 or 12 years to get to the bottom of it. And in 1974, if I'm not mistaken, 1974, yeah. I think that's when they went and checked out the gold, finally. Yeah. They sent some journalists and congressional delegates because of all the rumors surrounding the gold and whether it was actually there or not.
Oh, it's 74. I thought it was
70.
So
I don't know if that was prior to the gold, after, but I just read where they had actually gone in there.
I mean,
but now we're having a big rush from London bringing all the gold into the United States, and there's actually shortages over there because they're bringing it in so fast. And I'm like, well, maybe they're trying to get in Fort Knox so nobody realizes it was
right. We borrow your gold for a little bit. We just want to hold it for a few minutes.
Yeah. Just need to cover this shit up, real.
There's obviously going to be some in that vault. I just don't know it's going to be what's expected to be in there.
I'd have to inspect it every 6 weeks or so.
Yeah, and I guess a big question I hear a lot of people is this going to be televised? I wouldn't put it past
I understand
Elon and Trump to make sure that it's live streamed somewhere on X.
Why not? Why not?
We have the right to see it. Right?
Yeah.
We have the right to know if it's there. We have the right to see it.
And everybody would just be sitting on the edge of their seats.
Right.
The ratings would be epic.
Not everybody can just go and walk on the Fort Knox and walk up to the vault and say, "Hey, I want to look inside." I've been on Fort Knox. I've been in front of the vault. But as far as even walking through the gate, I would have probably gotten shot.
Mr. Lee couldn't get in there. He's been trying for years.
Yeah.
He has tried and tried. They won't let him in.
Yeah,
just keep telling him.
Can they even keep Trump out of there legally?
If they can, they will. You know that.
I don't know.
But I don't know.
I wouldn't think they could keep him out. It belongs to the U.S.
I wouldn't think they can keep him out of the Treasury either, but I think that they have put their foot down about that, didn't they?
I think
that Elon couldn't get into it.
I don't know. I think
didn't they say something about Elon not being able to go into the Treasury and look around?
I think the courts overruled all that stuff. I think he can actually go in there now. Is the left going to fuss and holler and stand out in the streets and sing whatever crazy songs they want to sing, yeah, probably so. But it's
The guy Bassett
it,
that we have in the guy Bassett that we have over the Treasury right now, he says they check it all the time. It's there. That's bullshit.
yeah,
I think. I mean, I'm sorry if I'm. I mean, I might not should be saying that BS, but BS. How's that? Exclamation! Exclamation!
yeah. I mean, I'd say
Scott Bassett, isn't he our secretary?
all this stuff is they're gonna act like that for a while. And then it's just going to mellow out because they're going to be like, well, crap, we're not getting our way anyway, so what's the sense of doing all this stuff? Because in all reality, what he's doing, they can fuss about it, but it's, it's all legal. It's all constitutional. And, that's what he campaigned on. And, they should have known.
But the trash, oh my, that's what they're mad about.
They're just mad because they haven't came up with this thing before we did. That's all it is.
They're mad because they really didn't have an opportunity to cover their tracks. That's what I think. But
You guys keep. I got to step
So
back
with
for a
this-
second. I got a noise in this thing's driving me nuts. So I'm going to try to fix it.
I'm sorry.
I
What?
say you guys go ahead and keep talking. I'm going to step back for a second. I got some kind of feedback in this, and I got to fix it. It's driving me nuts.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
alrighty.
But yeah, it's I just have you heard of when, like, a time frame on them going to Fort Knox?
No, and I'm curious about that. I meant to look into that, and I just forgot. You know what? That's actually made of. I was surprised because back when they built it, you just wouldn't think they would. I don't know. They didn't have the bombs and stuff we have now. They didn't have the artillery and everything we have, but they actually put 16,000 cubic feet of granite, 4,200 cubic yards of concrete, 750 tons of reinforcement steel, and 670 tons of structural steel. That's pretty sturdy for back in that era,
You're talking about the vault?
I don't think anybody's gonna be digging a tunnel in there.
No. I mean, but it's well built. I can tell you that.
It was what?
I would hate to see what it would cost to even build that vault compared to what it cost to build it back in the day. And it's pretty massive, for sure.
I'd heard that it takes 7 people to get into the vault, each with a different code, or
I'm sure. You got the gate, then you got the main, the front door to go into. Then I'm sure it's just like a viewing area or something like that. And then you got another door, then another door. I'm sure it goes back in there pretty good ways before you actually get to the gold itself.
I would love to go. But maybe at least we get to watch it on TV.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of people to ask me, is it going to be like televised? Is it going to be on X?
They keep saying it will be.
Yeah, and I hope it is. It's just on what can be taken in? Can a live video be done in there? I don't know. You know, how much service is going to be in that vault? Um, I hope it is televised. I do. I just want to. I'd like to see it myself instead of, we haven't been able to believe the government for how long now? You know, and I'm not.
True.
And I'm saying that on both sides, right? I'm not saying that Musk
Yeah.
or Trump would lie to us about it, but I just got that sore taste in my mouth when it comes to believing government in general.
I don't think any of the American people have actually seen it unless they were part of the guard that went with whomever to see it. I mean, we didn't have the capability. I think they took a picture of it when McConnell went. But
If they let if they let
picture,
McConnell in there and they don't let Trump, there's something wrong. Uh,
well, they let McConnell in. There's no telling there. Probably chocolate wrapped up in gold paper now.
there ain't no telling.
Shut up.
And even former guards at the vault, I'm sure they can't say nothing, even after they're not a guard there anymore. It's
Right.
it's like the guards.
Kind of like with Area 51.
Yeah, well, it's like the soldiers at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, right?
Yeah.
You can't even after you finish your duty. Used to be, because I personally knew one that was there, and it used to be that even after you got out, you couldn't even cuss. You can't even say a curse word, or you lose what you're doing there at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. You're not on that detail anymore. And even afterwards, even if you got caught by the right people, cussing, they can strip you from even saying that you were even a part of that detail. It's and I'm sure it's the same way with being a guard there at the vault in Fort Knox. You can't say what you've seen. You can't do none of that stuff.
I'm curious, if the gold is not there, what does it mean to the country, And I couldn't find anything on that.
If they was to open that up and not find gold, not see gold, it might be a bad place. We might be in a bad place at a bad time. That's all I can say. Because I'm sure that there's a lot of citizens that would push them over the edge.
Well, and what would it mean for us economically or financially? What would that do? It
Bankrupt.
can't be a good thing, Which we haven't a go back dollar or whatever in many since what, Nixon? So
Yeah.
That, but
Yeah. I don't know what would happen. I don't know that I really want to know what would happen, to be honest. I'm sure Trump would be on a big tear if he opened that up and there was no gold in that vault. I'd say, whew, I don't know. Somebody be in big trouble. That's all I can say.
I cannot even imagine. It's going to be breathtaking either way it goes.
Oh yeah.
Whether there's gold in the vault or not. Everybody's going to go,
Yeah. Every door that opens, we're going to be holding
look at
on.
all that gold. Or, where's all the gold?
Yeah.
One way or another.
Yeah. So, it's, and with gold being in other places in the country,
Yeah.
Denver and, all the other places that it's stored at, makes me,
Like London.
well, it makes me think that they think, or they have a thought that there may not be as much at Fort Knox as there's supposed to be, or why wouldn't they want to be looking at all the other places?
Don't know.
Because we know Fort Knox don't have it all. It's
And then they say 59% of the treasury is at Fort Knox. Is what I read. 59% is still a good chunk.
yeah, absolutely. That just leaves 41% in other places. Well over the majority of it is that are supposed to.
How much is in London, England? How much is in London, England? That they're experiencing a shortage right now because they're shipping it all over here.
Right. Yeah. There's some questions there that, there's no way that we could answer. And yeah, I don't know. I just, the only thing I can say is I hope when they open all the doors, and we see shiny gold. That's all I can hope for. We'll worry about the count later. I just want to how long is it going to take them?
In up until 1944, guess what was stored in there? Go ahead, I'll give you 3 guesses.
I don't know. I wouldn't know.
Well, I was surprised. The Constitution and the original Constitution and Declaration of Independence. And wouldn't you think it'd be too damp in there for that? I mean,
I don't know. I would say it was probably something to keep the moisture out. I would think.
Very good.
Some kind of.
But at any rate, they stored it there from 41 to 44.
So,
wow. Just little.
So I guess Kentucky is kind of housed a lot of stuff federally. We used to have a lot of the nuclear stuff in Kentucky.
Really?
Yeah, it used to be here in Kentucky. I don't know if it very well could still be there, but I believe that I'd heard a few years ago that they were transferring all that to some other location. But yeah, it's Kentucky's had a lot of federal stuff, and with that original copy of the Declaration of Independence.
Pretty interesting.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And why Kentucky? That's my question.
I know. Why Kentucky?
And it's. I'm sure there's still some nuclear stuff, probably here, but I think they did ship.
Well, I think I read that they didn't want to leave it on the East Coast because it would be susceptible to an attack, from ships or what have you. And they wanted to move it further inland, and Kentucky seemed like a good place to get it. I don't know.
Well, I suppose. I mean, they
read that somewhere.
They could have took it somewhere else, but it would be different if Kentucky got some of that
Oh,
gold.
I'm talking about the gold.
Uh,
Well, that's what I'm talking about, the gold.
and be all right if Kentucky got some kind of a housing fee of it. Uh, it but I'm sure that's not going to happen either, But it's federal land, being a military post and things like that. It it's going to be very interesting. So, what are your thoughts about Trump and what he's getting done and his administration, all of his cabinet picks? What's your thoughts on all that?
I think he has, I think the first go around, a lot of America was really disappointed in his cabinet choices in his administration. Everybody was going, why is he choosing him? Or why did he put him there? Or, why not try Gowdy? Or, we had all we were like, yay, we got Trump. Let's load that cabinet up with all these wonderful people. And he didn't.
Right.
And so we're really disappointed. But this time he's come in and he has really
he learned,
done a really good job. And they have a camaraderie, and they're all on the same page and they're all ready to get the job done,
Yeah, he learned a lot his first term. Found some things that he found some things that he shouldn't have done, probably things that he didn't do that he should have done, and I think that's what's making, especially the first month.
I think he came in. All these people were his friends. He thought, they had been asking him to run for president for years. I mean, he thought he could work with both sides of the aisle. And then when he mentioned doing some certain things that they didn't like or were afraid of, he had to go, right? And they really came after him, and he finally realized, well, these people are not my friends after all. They're gonna put me in jail, or they're gonna kill me, or they're, whatever they can do to keep me from going in here.
Right.
And so this time he has put together a team that are all on the same page and all mean to get this country straightened out. I mean, they're determined, grim determination. That's what I see, and camaraderie. Like I said, they seem to even be having fun with it, don't they?
Right.
Which I love.
Yeah, absolutely. It's. I think, especially with Bondi, Pam Bondi, in there, Tom Homan with he's kicking some butt.
Yeah. With the border, he is doing a fine job.
Yeah, I mean he's blowing that out of the water, big time. And it's
wait to see what Cash is going to do.
Yeah,
I'm anxious to see what he's going to do.
I think he's going to do good. I think he'll be fine. He's just got to get started. Hopefully get in there and see.
Yeah, got to get his sailor's legs under him, and then he's got Dan Bongino now with him. So, I mean, that's going to be a hellacious team. I'm sorry. That's going to look out, Democrats. All you people that have been stealing our money and breaking the law for years are going to finally, I think they're going to pay. I really do.
Yeah.
I think they go into jail.
Well,
we might just see some tax.
And that's where they need to be. Really.
Yeah.
I mean.
And I don't think anybody's crying.
Yeah. It's time for heads to roll. Sorry, I lost my camera in the midst of everything.
Oh, you're good. I was like, is John coming back?
Yeah,
I
Even
know.
if
It's the
it's
same
tossing
thing.
around, and but no, I'm listening to what you guys are saying, and you're absolutely right. It's time for some heads to roll. It's these people committed crimes, and they need to be held accountable for the crimes they committed.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yep.
And apparently, there have been a lot of these things going on, much more than we realize. I mean, we knew it, but until Doge started digging around and putting it out there where everybody could see, we really didn't know how serious it was. We didn't know how bad it was. Now we know. You know, it's like something's got to give. I'm sorry. The tail's in there now. Let's go get them. You know, go get them, boys.
I wonder.
It's that time.
I wonder how many times Jill has looked at Joe and said, "Uh-oh, you forgot to pardon this one, this one, and this one, and this one. They're getting ready to go to jail."
Well, what about Clinton? She didn't get a pardon, did she? I don't think she did. I tried to
I don't
look
know
it
what she
up.
did, but
I didn't see
that
it anywhere.
any laws she broke and the statute can run out. As far as going back there to the servers and all the nonsense back in the day in 2016. So I think she's probably in the clear that way, unless she's broken some more laws in between. And chances are, knowing her character, she has.
Oh, sure. Um,
Well, they still haven't done anything with Haiti. So, I mean, that continues,
oh
I
yeah.
would think.
I mean, it's a mess. I mean, there's a lot of people that I'm looking at. Like, well, you know, they're going to go to jail over some of this stuff. Um, and what's it going to do to? Obviously, it's going to make the House and the Senate a lot better because there's going to be a few of them that has to give up their seat. Because they're not going to be able to.
And you know what? I got to say all that, Greg. It's all right by me.
Yeah, yeah. I think they'll probably lose in the midterm anyway. But it's. I think there's a few people that.
You know who I'm looking for? You know who I'm waiting for? Chef.
Adam Schiff.
That's going to be. Yes, indeed.
I don't know. I don't know who all he actually did pardon. Um, I know there was a list that came out like probably right before the inauguration. Uh, there was a list that Biden just pardoned. I don't know who all was even on that list, but
You can see it on that list.
there was quite a few people on it. That's for sure.
I know. I don't see how he got away with that. And the first time when he released those people from prison and everything, um, there was a lady here from Mississippi who was a doctor and had killed, I don't even know how many people, gone to court, been found guilty, and went to prison, and he gave her an early release.
Hmm.
People around here are just really outraged about it,
Right. Well, and I think they have the right to be.
Well, sure.
And it.
I don't think you should be hanging her shingle out right here.
Right.
Should be a rule.
For sure.
Well, let's see.
Let's see here.
Um,
There we go. But yeah, anything else you'd like to talk about tonight, Deborah? Or?
I'm just not really. There was a time when everyone was very concerned about the state of this country and where we were headed and what we were going to have to do, And I trekked all over the place trying to encourage people and trying to instruct them on, getting organized and just getting to know your neighbor, making sure you did know your neighbor because that was going to be the thing that was going to be able to pull you through it, right?
Right.
Plant you a little garden, have you some groceries, um, toilet paper, and anyway,
So has there been talk down there? I don't know. I don't know when your legislatures are in session in Mississippi. Uh, have has there
these
been talk down there of the like a state version of Doge going on?
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it in Florida.
Yeah, I know.
I've seen the Governor Sanders talking about it.
Yeah, he's talking about it. I seen that today. Kentucky introduced a bill last week to come up with our own version of it here called COGE,
Oh, good.
Kentucky Office of Government Efficiency, and you know,
That's good.
and well, you know, our governor here, just like this past year, kind of used tens of thousands of dollars of taxpayer money to take overseas trip to the World Economic Convention and things like that to better himself, so he can make a presidential run in 28, which is not doing him any good. We see it as just a complete waste of money because he don't have a chance
Right.
anyway.
Right.
But you know, it's we got to put a stop to things like that for sure. And you know, we wonder why taxes are increasing. Well, that's why. You know, we're letting all these state governors use taxpayer dollars to fund their trips. You know,
Yeah. Oh,
what
yeah.
did the mayor in California in Los Angeles? I'm sure that probably came out of taxpayer money as well. You know, her trip
Mhm.
overseas while her city's burning down.
She knew they were under a high fire warning. You know,
Yeah.
she knew it. She knew those fires were coming. I
Yeah,
can't believe it.
absolutely.
And the water. I can't believe they. It's just beyond me that these people in official positions care less about the people they're governing. You know that they're supposed to be looking after. I mean, what is wrong with them? You know, they do all just look at it as, well, I got some pocket change, huh? Seriously. They had
I think we just
water in what?
I think we just need to get John Grosvenor an address in every state. Let him run for governor in every single state, and just run the country underneath the Trump.
I didn't
You're
understand.
muted, John.
You're cracking me up, man. Oh yeah, governor in every state. I can see that. Where would I run that from?
I don't know.
I have to go right to the center of the country, right?
Just live in the center. You know, go
What?
tell TJ, say, well, we got to move.
Yeah, we got to move. She'd probably be up for it, knowing her. She's got a little adventurous heart.
Are you running, Greg, for anything? Are you running for office?
I am. I am. I'm running state house here in Kentucky in the 70th district. Yep. Just
Okay.
getting the campaign ramped up and running hard with it.
Well, good luck to you.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. It's going to be a long year. My wife told me, she said, well, I guess I'll see you about Christmas time of 2026, right before you go into office. She said, because I know
All
how it's
right.
going to be until then.
Be busy. Yeah. Gonna be gone a
But
lot.
yeah, we gotta get people in there that actually care about the people, and not going into office to benefit themselves.
Right.
And that's not only here in Kentucky. That's everywhere. That's in every state.
Hmm.
You know, instead of saying, okay, I want to make a career out of this and go in there and make as much money as I can and retire as early as I can. We don't need that kind of people in there. Um, and we term limits has to be everywhere. It really does.
It's got to get started. It's got to start somewhere,
I
And
don't, sorry.
No, go ahead,
what?
Don.
I was stepping on you. I don't like the idea about term limits. I think your vote is the term limit. When it comes to members of Congress, it's you vote them in, you vote them out. Also,
Well,
I do understand the in reflection to the 2020 election, they don't just keep the presidents; they cheat otherwise.
well, and I look at what you're saying. Like here in Kentucky, right? We have Hal Rogers, that's a U.S. congressman. He's been in Washington D.C. for 44 years. Mitch McConnell, look how long he's been into the U.S. Senate.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is I believe, and this may not be right, but I believe that people are scared of change, so they don't want to make a change, thinking that they might get worse than what they already have. And so they vote to keep that person in there over and over and over and over and over for that reason. And that's the reason I'm for the term limits is because we'll look at Mitch McConnell right now. I can't help but look at Mitch because he's a senator here. He voted against how many people of Trump's cabinet. And watching the votes and things on TV, I look and Mitch McConnell's pushing away the Republicans and talking to the Democrats like, oh, yeah, you're my buddy. You know, well, that's fine if you are, as long as the person that you're talking to is doing the right thing. But if you're associating with the bad egg, so to speak, um, you know,
I know.
you're not doing what you're put there to do.
No, you're right. It's hard to beat the power of incumbency, and that's what they have advantage. It's on their side. The other problem is the party. If you are a party favor, they're going to keep you in there, and especially if you're a powerhouse player like Mitch McConnell. Let's face it, like him or not, he's a powerhouse player. He's got a leader pack. He's the guy who gets out there, wrangles things up, and gets things together. He's positioned himself quite well in Congress, and so the party doesn't want to lose him, right? Because he's a player, and he does party favors, just like the party does. We're losing in this country because we keep backing the parties. George Washington said it in the state, or not a State of the Union, his farewell speech, that once parties got involved, we've lost the American dream. Parties are corporations. Parties are corporations running this country with other corporations for profit. And these people to get together in these think tanks. We talk about World Economic Forum all the time, but we don't talk about is these other conservative think tanks and these other liberal think tanks that sit there and influence with the power of the purse because they're the ones paying for the party. How much money do you think you and I get compared to what the corporations are getting? And these got the time. These people have the time there, and they make this part of their everyday business. They understand if you want change in government, you've got to get involved in politics. And if you're going to sit on your haunches and drink beer and watch The Simpsons every night, and pay it no mind, well, guess who they're paying no mind to? They're not thinking about you and me in Washington D.C. We're not funding them. We're not feeding them. And I can go with the third one on that, right? So I'm in bed with them. Okay, we're out here complaining about issues. Uh, we're not supporting them. They spend 50 to 70% of their time in a little building that the party supplies with a list of donors that they call. These donors are very, very wealthy people. They're not calling me and you at our home and saying, "Hey, I was wondering if you could donate to my campaign." No, they're calling people who donate thousands of dollars per time, and they're getting these donations from these
Well,
people. These are influential people who expect something in return, and they're getting it every time. They're getting a bigger boost in their form of business while they're screwing you and me, the worker, over.
and you're right. it's like I know you've heard me talk about the swamp, um, that documentary, and they bring that exact thing out in that. They have a list of high
Mhm.
dollar donors. They have to go, and the Republicans have their building, the Democrats have their building. It's separate from the Rayburn building, the Capitol, and all that. It's off of federal grounds that they go to, and they sit and they make phone calls to these, to get more donations, and that's not for them; that's for the party. Because they have to raise so much money for the Republican Party, the Democrat Party, and things like that. And
So
it's bad to
if they're a
say, but
servant to the party, who's in charge? The members of Congress or the people above them in the party running things?
well, that's a good point.
So that's what we're seeing.
Uh,
So basically, they turn a bunch of members of Congress who's supposed to be these big powerhouse, high level players that are really just servants to the party. And the party has their people they got to cater to because they rely on them for donations. It's all a game. And basically it's a corporate game, and you and I are just pawns in this game. We're getting trapped. We're not even pawns. We don't even qualify to be that. They see us as like chattel property. You know what I'm saying? ELD.
mhm.
We've gone to that. Did Deborah freeze up?
Yeah, I think she sent a message saying that she's freezing up. She can't understand what we're
Oh
saying.
geez. So yeah, we get I'll take her out and try to bring her back in, see if she I don't know if she unfroze or not, but um no, she still froze. I'll leave her out until I see movement. But yeah, so what was that? Oh, the ELD, right? Here we are, a bunch of workers out here, and they're looking at us going, hey, you know what, if we could use these people to collect data and collect information, you know how much we can enhance our business. But not only will we use them, we'll get them to pay for it. So we'll treat them like property, we'll get them to pay for our ELD, and then we'll collect all this information because we'll have to sign a waiver to use it, and everybody will have the same waiver. So these chumps will sign a waiver because it's a law, and we'll get them to give us all this information for free, and we'll make billions of dollars off it, and we won't give any kickbacks to them. We're just using them like we own them. That's a cold hard.
Yep, yep. And a lot of the ELDs, what were they gathering information for? They gathered the information from the ELDs to path the way for your autonomous
Exactly. So
vehicles.
make
Uh,
compounding their interest, right? Or their return on investment
yeah,
that they didn't even make an investment because they got us to pay for them. Well, not me because I refuse to use
yeah,
them, but somebody's paying for
right,
them. I know a lot
right.
of people that are.
I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that I didn't cut my cord a few times.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, because
One
it's
time or
just,
another. I mean, look, man, I'm paying for this stinking cell phone. You know damn well they're collecting data off from me. I voluntarily do that crap.
well, if they,
I should go out and get one of those jitterbugs that does
you,
nothing but make phone calls and they can't get nothing.
I mean, if they wasn't collecting data off your phone, then they wouldn't have no idea what you just Google searched. And then whenever you go from the Google search and click on Facebook, what's the first thing you see? Ads on what you just
Yeah,
searched for.
or you have a conversation with
Uh,
somebody, you open up Facebook and there's ads based off that phone conversation. I wasn't really in the market for a carburetor for my 1972 Buick Skylark, but suddenly there are ads all over the place for it. I'm just throwing things off the top of my head here, of course, but
no, but whenever you go back to Facebook, there it
yeah.
is. It's like, that's weird because I just talked about this. Uh, but that's they're gathering all the information on everything.
Oh,
Um, it's I don't know. That's why they brought into effect, Biden, and then brought into effect we need to know whenever you withdraw $600 or more, out of your bank account, or we need to know where all this is going. No, you don't. It's my money. You don't have to. You don't need to know where it's going.
she goes out. Deborah, can you hear us? Or you see the movement of volume, but I don't hear anything.
I can hear.
There she is. Yeah, that gets me every once in a while. I'll be kicked off. I'm surprised it hasn't had happen tonight. We still got a couple of minutes here, so I'm knocking on wood on that one. Most usually it's me that's out and backing in about 3 or 4 times during the
I
show.
thought it was my equipment making that noise. Now I'm starting to think she had a bad connection and it was doing that. I still trying to figure out some of the software, but they update, upgrade, and change things around so much. Every time you think you got it figured out, you realize you don't.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, it's looks like we're coming up on our hour mark here. Um, I'm not sure who we have next week, but I know we've got somebody. I haven't looked to see who we
Well, if we
actually
don't,
have.
we'll sit here and talk about
Um,
what a bunch of slaves we are.
yeah, we're definitely that. Um, but yeah, it's I appreciate Deborah coming on um, and joining the show. And I still don't think she can hear us, but I appreciate her coming on this week, talking about the goal. And we kind of, got done talking about that and just started, talking. But it's there's always plenty to cover somewhere within all this government mess. Always something that we can cover for sure. But we appreciate everybody for watching. But we'll be back next Monday, 7 o'clock Eastern time. Also, John will be back this week 3 other times. He'll be back on here tomorrow at 7 with Patriot Confederation. He'll be back Wednesday night, 2 hour show from 7 to 9 with Common Sense Conservative. He'll be on here again Thursday night. I swear I don't know his wife. I know she has to be fussing at him being on lives every night. But Thursday night he'll be back on again at 7 o'clock with the Independent Trucker Show. But again, we'll be back next Monday, and I'll let John take it on out
All
of here.
right, ladies and gentlemen, that's our bit for tonight. We hope you got something out of it. Sorry for that background noise. Kind of a bit much, but that's how this technology goes sometimes, man. When you think you got it, and all of a sudden you just don't. Give me the truckers way out. Keep the greasy side down, the shiny side up, in between the lines. Safe travels wherever it is you may be going. And as always, be good. If you can't be good, well, be good at it. And we are gone.